give this a try. So we are reviewing a game between two adult players who just learned Go a few weeks ago. They've been playing 9x9 and 13x13 games since. This is the first 9x9 game for Black, Dylan, and it's the fourth for Mark playing White. This game was played on the online Go server, OGS, and my name is David Goodger. I'm a Rusty one Dan, roughly. Let's see where we go from here. Okay. So White first plays on the star point. No issues there. Now next Black plays on the 5-5 point, which I think is way too far from the corner. Too easy for White to invade. Instead, any one of the plays A, B, C, D, or E would be fine. So A is the 3-3 point. B is the 3-4. C is the 4-4. D is the 3-5. And E is the 5-4. So any one of these plays would be better, I think, than the 5-5. So the 3-3 point is often played for immediate territory. Basically, it tells White, don't come in here. There's no space for you. 3-4 is a balance between territory and influence. 4-4 is influence. You're planning on developing the sides. 3-5 sort of sets up an enclosure next on the 3-4 point diagonally away from it over here. And 5-4 is even more aimed at influence on the outside. What would happen in the actual game? So in the actual game, of course in this case, so at the 5-5 point, it's easy to invade. So we've got a variation here. If White could invade right away, and something like this would happen. So Black could try to block. White extends. Black blocks again. White extends the other way. Black hane. White hane. Black does a double hane. White extends down. Black could block. White protects. Black connects on the outside. This is a very submissive way to play, and it wouldn't necessarily happen this way. But Black gets a nice solid outer wall, almost impervious. There's only one small defect right here, and it's not too bad. And White gets a nice big corner. So that's kind of why you don't want to play on the 5-5 point. It's just too easy to invade. So what did White do? White played on the fifth line on the side. Well, why the side? Why not one of the letter points here, A, B, C, D, or E? Any one of those is fine. The most efficient order in play for the beginning of play for what's called the Fuseki is corner, side, middle. So and that's basically the lowest hanging fruit. So corners first because the two sides are already done. This cornerstone here, these two sides are already done for you by the edge of the board. So it's easiest to enclose territory. It takes the fewest stones. Then you extend to the side, and then play naturally goes towards the middle. And so after the initial stones on the sides, usually they're followed by a mixture of either second cornerstones forming enclosures, what's called a shimari, or approach moves by the opponent, which cancel out the shimari, and then extensions along the sides. Corner approach moves ideally start balanced sequences called joseki, and then play typically continues naturally towards the middle. I've got some links here to a Go lecture by Nick Sibicky and some introductory material and to joseki and even the joseki dictionary online. I'll put all those in the show notes. So what did I have as my variation here? Okay. So next, Black plays an approach to White's side playing. So you often see this white stone being played as a shoulder hit to this black stone. Normally you don't put your shoulder underneath a descending fist. So it's kind of too close. A would be better. That would be a good extension from this corner in the lower left, but far enough away from the white stone to not to start a fight. Basically, the closer you get to your opponent's stones, the more likely it is to start a fight. And when you start a fight, you want your stones to have an advantage in number, in liberties, and in escape routes. One-on-one, there's no real advantage, so why bother? So here's black playing at A instead, and um, white might extend off towards the top, making a base and intending to slide in under the corner. If black blocks, white might see. This is why, again, fifth line is not so great. White can easily still, even with this Shimari, even with these two stones, white can still get into the corner. So another option for white might be to play on the 4-4, threatening to poke through. So black could block, and then again, white makes a nice corner. And black can't really stop white from living in the corner. Black may be able to block the corner in Sente and get the next move somewhere else in the board, but white, I think, is very happy to steal black's corner from him. So back to what actually happened in the game. So black played there. Then white next played on the side, again on the fifth line, on the top side. So that seems to be the theme so far in this game. So fifth line play makes it just too easy to invade on the third line. Black could easily play around A to remove any chance white has at a base, and then B and C are miai. So miai means if white takes one, black takes the other, and vice versa. So they're equal options, and both are an escape from the other. So black played down in the middle on the bottom. It's okay. Fourth line is better. Third line is also fine. Third line emphasizes territory or immediate points, whereas fourth line emphasizes influence or later points. This playing right in the middle doesn't really do anything. Any of the marked points on the board, A through F, would be better, in my humble opinion. So all 6 of those points are approaches to either Shimari or approaches to the corner. So Shimari or corner enclosures help secure a corner and extend a little bit into the side. And approaches to a corner basically prevent your opponent from making a Shimari, an enclosure. Black again played as a reverse shoulder hit, sort of stuck his shoulder underneath. A or B would be better, I think, in this situation. White does play a shoulder hit here, and white plays shoulder hits to reduce black's influence, but it's probably too early for this right now. There are bigger points on the board still. So black played a 2-point extension, a 2-point jump from his upper right corner, which is good. It's a big move. But notice now that the right-hand side is empty, and the rest of the board seems a little bit over-concentrated in relation to that. So nothing wrong with this move, but black somewhere around A might be better. Let's take a look. So something like that. White might play like that. Black could loosely connect the 2 stones like that. White plays an approach on the other side of the corner. Black pincers. That's called a pincer move. White extends into the middle. Black blocks the extension, blocks the connection between these white stones along the top by extending into the middle. White again extends into the middle, 1-point jump, and black chases it, keeping it separated from this point A, this stone A here. And then white might decide to make a base by sliding into the corner, and um, black can block at least half of the base, prevent white from getting too easy of a time of it, and then white would have to keep on running. This is more of a sort of a natural progression of how the game might go from this point. So back to how the game actually played. So black did a 2-point jump extension there, which is fine. White plays a bit of an approach. It's a bit far from its friends. It's too far away from the black corner to be really an approach move of much, and it's too far from its friends to be an extension. And these two black stones sort of make a bit of influence for black that it'd be better to stay away from. So black responds by playing this 2-point elephant jump from his lower left corner, which is sort of the right idea. Make a corner enclosure, but it's too loose. Any of A through F are better corner enclosures. So A, it makes a nice corner enclosure connecting up to this stone, and B also, so there's high and low. Again, the low third line is more territory oriented. It blocks invasions better than B. B are more influence oriented, towards the center of the board, potentially making a little bit more territory, but leaving it easier for white to invade. C and D, C and D are the same on the other side. E and F are a little bit further extensions, and that's because this black stone on the lower side is a bit further away. So they sort of split the difference. It's a looser connection, that's certain. And then any of G, H, or I here make a very solid corner, not so much an enclosure as preventing a corner invasion by white, G, H, and I. And they're very conservative and slow, but they do prevent a white invasion into the corner. So at this point, white can easily invade at A, D, E, or even at G. And there are tricky moves where white could invade at H and I as well. So not necessarily the best place for black to play. But white replies. And again, the marked plays would be better. So any of these, A, B, and C are all pretty standard corner enclosures. D and E are a bit further, F even further away, sort of splitting the difference between this stone on the side. A little bit overextended because it's still if white was to play here at F, then black could play halfway in between on either side. G would be an approach to the upper right-hand corner. H would be an approach to the upper left-hand corner, also extending from this stone on the left. And I basically attaches against this white stone, but because it's two stones in a row, it's a strong move. White would pretty much have to respond, because that would make the white single stone here on the bottom very weak. What does black actually do? Black plays a kosumi, a diagonal move from the previous play. This is sketching out the corner. Both black and white have sketched out large, loose frameworks called moyo in Japanese. They're very loose though, maybe too loose. A play at A through E would be more efficient. So again, A is a corner enclosure for black from the top left. B is helps with this black stone in the center bottom, and sort of connects up well with the other ones. C makes the upper, C and D both, they're basically the same move. They make the upper left-hand corner for black much more secure. E is an enclosure for the upper right. And then approaching the lower right corner white's stone at F or G would be fine moves as well, because again, approaches prevent white from making an enclosure. So again, after the initial corners, you want to make enclosures and approaches to prevent enclosures, right? And there's still lots of those available. Next, white plays an extension along the left side, and so white is on the fifth line, and this really induces black to continue to push down to extend towards the bottom with his stone, and that's making black fourth line territory. And that's typically something you don't want to do. Fourth line territory is valuable territory. You want to be pressing it down and forcing black to take third or second line territory. Fourth line territory is typically not worth the influence that white would get on the outside. So black's response here is good. That's what I would do. White turns around the top of those two stones. Now that's actually in isolation. It's a good move. There's a proverb in Go is to play at the top of two stones. Bend around a wall like that. It's always good. But well, yeah, I'd say there's nothing wrong with it. It really begs for a follow-up at A or B up here for white. White's next move to make a base. In this particular situation with this black cornerstone at the 5-5 point, I would play at B instead of A. So A is on the fifth line, B is on the fourth line. I would play at B, and then the next move, if black didn't respond, I would slide into C, and that would make a nice base for white here on the left-hand side. Natural continuation. And then black continues to build a nice wall on the left. Good solid response. White pushes in, sort of making a stronger framework in the middle here. Black responds by attaching, by turning right at the head of the two stones. And this is I would say a mistake. What these three stones here, A, the stone black just played, A, and this stone form what's called an empty triangle. It's a triangle with an empty side here. And that's very inefficient. And the reason is because you don't need this stone A. If it didn't exist, it would be just as strong. These two stones would be just as strong. If white plays at A, black can play on the other side. If white plays on this side, black can play at A. So they're miai, and you don't need it. Better to play here at B, and this is what it would look like. So here, if white plays at A, black plays at B. If white plays at B, black plays at A. In isolation, white would never play at B because black would probably just respond here, make a tari, and then capture the stone. But this kind of diagonal connection is very strong because black can connect on either side, depending on where white plays. And this is more efficient. The entire wall is nice and strong and solid. Yeah, white can't cut. So, but black played here. Oh yeah, and these three marked white stones, they are not an empty triangle because the stone marked C here, the black stone marked C, fills the triangle. That's the difference. So this triangle is empty. This triangle is full. An empty triangle is typically bad shape. A filled triangle is not bad shape. It's not necessarily good shape, but it's not bad shape because there was a reason to do that. It's efficient. It's not wasting a move. Whereas an empty triangle kind of wastes a move or is inefficient because it doesn't go far enough. Let's see where white responds. White responds by firming up the wall. It's not really needed because black can't get into the middle. I think I might have a variation on that next. So what have I got here? So the next, oh, I see. Okay, never mind. So next black plays up here, which is it's a good efficient connection, but I think A would be better because it's on the fourth line. Again, fifth line is so high up, black could easily invade. Yeah, white could easily invade, and I think that's what I've got here as a um, oh, that's not what I have as a variation. I have it as a variation for this next one, but yeah, white could easily, at this point, um, white could easily still invade here at the 4-4 point, could poke underneath at this point here, could play at the 5-3 point here in the corner. Any number of places that white could play because this is just so far away from the corner. What does white actually do? White plays this. Now, in isolation, these two stones, and the stone just played. So if I mark these stones here, I'll mark them. So the four stones marked with a triangle and the stone just played form what's called the I shape. And it's a very good shape. It's a very strong shape. It guarantees, almost guarantees one eye for the group. It's nice and strong. If black plays inside, black is just donating a stone because there's no way for it to escape. But rather than that, I would play over here at A instead for white. Let's see what happens when white does play at A instead. So here's white playing at A, aiming at playing it at this the next point here, A. White plays here, aiming for here. Let's see if black actually plays at the cutting point. White can play a net, and the black stone is caught in a net, cannot escape. No way to escape without help from outside, of course. But yeah, that's what I would play instead. But white played there, and next black played here. So black played a 2-point jump extension along the fourth line on the bottom. It's a bit overambitious. White can cut here at A or even C, or there are lots of ways to cut the two apart. Better for black to play here at A, I think, or at B, C, or D. B is an approach to the corner. C is a way to extend and stay connected closer than the stone that was actually played, and it's easier because this is on the third line. It's more territory based, and it's closer and easier to stay connected. D is another possibility, but it can be cut, but not without a lot of complications. So I made some variations on this. So there's the 2 points over and 1 point down, also called a keima or a knight's move, small knight's move, like a knight's move in chess, 2 and then 1. And let's see what the follow-up is there. So white can try to cut, and black can just extend, and white is pretty much dead. White can't escape from that. So if we go back to the next, so after black plays there, white could also try playing here. And then black pokes in between. Again, black can just extend, and then black can capture the white stone in a ladder. Or black could extend further and be happy, and even if white tried to extend, black could just happily extend again, and white is basically dead. These two white stones are basically dead. And next, back up, next variation. So here's this is the large knight's move, or ogema in Japanese, and this is easier to cut than the Kema, than the small knight's move. We'll see what that looks like. So white could descend like this. This is very strong for black. If white tries to cut it, black has a way of connecting underneath. If white connects, then black can easily connect, protecting the Atari, the cutting points and the Atari points there. White can extend, black can extend. Black's very happy with this. Black gets nice third line territory and a nice connection, and very, very solid. Heading back to here, white could also do a 1-point jump. Black could poke through. White could block. Black could then cut. White extends. Black captures. We saw this before in the other variation, just in a different order. Back to the large knight's move, white could also play there. And black could try something like this. Black cuts and puts white in Atari. White descends. Black also descends. White puts that one in Atari, but white's got 3 separate, very weak groups, and black will certainly be able to pick at least one of them off. Black is happy to extend in this direction if white desires it, if white chooses to, and then white could go around here and try to Atari on the black stones, but because this stone is here, that would be under Atari too, and then black could escape into the middle this way. And even if black sacrifices these 3 stones, or 4 stones now, black could play again to induce a further Atari and extend out like that. Even then, black can go into the middle here like this. White is in really sorry shape. Black has got plenty of liberties on each of these groups and is really not in much danger. Even if black doesn't kill these 6 white stones here, which black probably could, white is in tough shape. There's all kinds of variations on this. This is not necessarily how it would actually play out, but this is the kind of situation that happens when you make so many cutting points when attacking some stones. And this is a ladder. I don't know. I'm sure you've encountered this in your games. This is a ladder, just continues off to the side. You have to watch for stones in the front of it, and you have to be able to read it out, see where it goes and what it touches. But obviously here it just ends at the side, and black will win. The outside stones will win, just alternating left and right. So let's go back to the last decision point here. That's the last of the variations from this one, I think. Oh, no. There was also this move here, just extending along the 4th line after this. So black played, that's right. Black actually played here, and I suggested that this would be better. Again, white is making a 5th line wall, whereas black is making a 4th line, some 4th line territory very happily. And then black could make an approach and invasion into black's moyo, black's framework here on the right-hand side, and basically ruin it. If black can make a living group in this area, then all of white's potential is gone. So even if white makes a pincer on that side, black can slide into the corner this way and make a nice base for a living group, and even extend back out into the middle. So black's in pretty good shape here. And if white was to answer this by blocking off the corner, then black can make a base in this direction here, and again extend towards the middle. So black is really happy no matter what happens in this situation. And then there was one other option here. Oh yeah, the approach to the corner. What might happen here? Something like this. White might do this attach and extend Joseki. This is a very common Joseki, especially for beginners to learn. and black's really happy. Next, white might play here, or here, or here, any one of those, because there's a cutting point here. Black could push through, white blocks, black cuts, and one of these points, one of these white stones, protects against that. And it also tends to link up along the right hand side here. So white would be happy with that, and black would be happy with that. So let's go back to we exhausted all the variations here. Yeah, we've exhausted all the variations. That's what black actually played. And let's see what white does next after I take a drink of water. I don't drink tea. So black played there. White next extended along the fifth line. I think maybe it'd be better to cut at A, like that. Black could hane underneath. White would hane as well. Black would cut. And the best black could hope for, really, I mean, this is one possible scenario, not likely, because it doesn't work for white. Rather than that, white could block on this side. Black could try to escape that way, but black could actually capture one side or the other, but then white could capture. White could threaten to capture those stones, and then actually capture this one black stone here. So this would sort of ruin black's bottom. Although black would have a nice strong base from which to push at the white corner in the lower right, or invade it. Something like that might happen. And then white would have a nice wall facing out, and again would have a framework, a moyo, on the right hand side. Something along the lines of this. What actually happened in the game. So that's what white actually did. And black responded by pushing up towards the center of the board. And I think that playing any one of A, B, C, or D would be better. It would help to connect these two stones together that are pretty far apart, and they're too close to white. So this stone here is feeling very vulnerable from these two white stones. I'd much rather that you connect one at one of those points. White decides to keep on pushing on the fifth line, making a wall. At this point, black extends. It's a good response, but as I said before, the two marked stones are still isolated, and white can cut at A or B at any time. White continues. Black extends again, making a very large corner enclosure for black, and then white invades. So, like I said a couple of times earlier, it's really easy for white to invade up on the upper right-hand corner under that 5-5 cornerstone. Even if black pushes down white, this is very good. Black turns around the head of the stones. White makes an empty triangle. Not efficient, almost always bad to make an empty triangle. Unless you absolutely have to for a local fight, but not for territory. You don't want to use it for territory, that's for sure. A, B, or C would be better, and I have variations for those. So here's A, and then black could hane like that. White might descend, and then white's got an eye. Here's that eye shape I told you about. And white has plenty of room for at least one more eye underneath here. White's got a nice big corner. Black has a nice wall on the outside, although it's facing this white strength here, so it's not that powerful. If we go back to here, the next possibility for white is to bend around this side. If black does a hane at this point, white can hane underneath. Black would probably extend, and then white could hane the other side, and again make a nice corner. And then the last point was to do a knight's move, sliding down the side here along the top side, and black might descend this way. And again, rather than making an empty triangle here, you can jump one here. Even if black pushes in, now you can block it, but this stone helps to define eye space in much better shape. Black descends, white can make a tiger's mouth here like this, and even if black plays Atari, white still has plenty of room for two eyes in the corner here. And white's still open to the side here. White could extend like that, adding extra space and also threatening to push through this wall. So black would probably want to block one side or the other. White could go up there like that and then cut. You know, here's a case where an empty triangle is okay because it's the only move that works. White playing here means that black would play where white just played and capture those two stones. If white wants to keep these two stones, he has to play the empty triangle. But that's the exception that proves the rule. Heading back a few moves, when black descended like that, blocking white, white could also descend. This is very solid. If black descends again, then again white can go towards the center. If black blocks, white can cut. And black here, these three stones, naturally you have a 2-point jump and naturally connects to these existing stones. Black would be very happy in this case. White would be completely enclosed in the corner, but these two stones face white's strength down below, so white's not unhappy about this situation either. So back up to the actual game. White played there. Black chose to tenuki, which means pull hand. Te means hand, nuki means pull, remove. So white removed his hand from the local situation and played here towards the middle. And I really don't know what this is for. It's just a lonely weak stone out in the middle of the board. There's no friends nearby, nothing for it to connect to. It's not making territory. It's not threatening anything. So better alternatives would be A here, which is exactly where white plays next. A here, which takes fourth line territory and it blocks. It helps to connect along the top side for black. B or C, blocking white's corner invasion a bit more, or even approaching the lower right corner at D or E. And in combination with these mark stones, that makes a nice double approach, which would really put the pressure on this white stone in the corner. And also they might be able to connect up with these stones, so depending on how white plays after that. But any one of those moves would be better than this one. This is really just weird. So white played up here, blocking and trying to divide and reduce the black's top side, which is fine. But again, these two white stones are pretty lonely. You don't want your stones to be lonely. Basically, you don't want your stones to be further away from their friends than you don't want your enemy stones to be closer than your friends are. Here, that's a good way to put it. So here, white's closest friends are over here, right? They're far away. White's enemies are much closer. Keep your friends close and keep your enemies distant in the case of Go, because when your enemies are close, that's when you have fights. So black descends. That's fine. That's good. That's strong. It helps to keep all these stones connected on the up here. White descends again. Not sure exactly why. Well, if white wants to separate the stones on the top right from the stones on the top left, white is certainly succeeding. Black does a hane around. Then white caps, does an attachment, capping off, trying to cap off the group here. Okay, maybe trying to make a moyo in the middle here for white. Black extends solidly, connecting. Nice diagonal connection with these existing stones, solid connection. All of these stones they're not physically connected, but it's as good as. White cannot play anything. White cannot play any one move to disconnect these three stones from these two stones, or these two stones from this stone, or for that matter, this stone from these two stones. These are all connected. White plays at the corner here, at the top of the two stones, which is good. This strengthens these three stones, makes it easier for these four stones now to connect up. And if white gets the chance to block here, then it makes a nice wall facing the center. That's good for white. Black descends, blocking the white's corner invasion, and it's fine. It creates some solid territory, but white is trying to block black off from the center with this marked stone here. So black might consider playing, instead of playing there, black might consider playing here at A to keep the game interesting, to keep these white stones separated from this white stone, to keep the center out of white's hands. It would allow white to extend into this black area like that. So it's it's give and take. So white played there, black descended, white played in the middle of those stones. Now, white is playing in the middle of black's strength. It threatens a cut at A, but that cut doesn't work. And I have some variations to show after that. So not so great. Not so great. So black first plays here, a hane around the marked stone, which is a good connection. The hane is good. It threatens this stone, and yeah, nothing wrong with this move. That's for sure. And then white next plays like this, and instead, let's see, I promised you a variation. So here's the variation where white cuts instead. And what black can do is black can just atari. White extends. Black hanes around these two stones. They only have two liberties between them. And this doesn't work because black can capture immediately. Boom. The white stones are gone. So as an alternative, when black plays here, white could play atari here. Black could connect and put that stone in atari. Atari, capture, connect, and then black can go back and capture these three stones. If white, instead of connecting, instead of connecting underneath black stones to the corner, if white instead connects those four stones together with this one, then black can just descend and capture all five of them all at once. So these three stones here in the middle would be lost. So, but instead, white plays here, and black connected at the edge. This does leave the cut at A available to white. In this localized situation, I don't think it would work because white plays here, black could play here, say, and it would devolve to one of the situations we already saw, something like this or this, and white can't really escape from there. But if white did play there, black could just, those 4 black stones could just escape on the other side. So there's really no danger for them. And then they can connect up underneath white stones to the rest. So black has no danger at this point of from this cut at A. So so it's not really a big deal. On the other hand, there's no real reason to connect where black did. If black, instead of playing there, if black connected it at the cutting point there, what can white do? White stones are dead. They can't connect to the outside. White could play something like that. Black connects. White tries to connect, and black prevents it. Instead, black. So when black plays there, white could try doing a hane underneath black stones, but black can block them. Even if white cuts, black can take, of course. Or if white connects, then black can connect as well. Now, there are some complications. If we go back a few steps, we go back to here where black made the solid connection. What are the other places where white could play? White could play there, in which case black just takes. So that's not even interesting. White could play on the outside, black connects. Not interesting. The one interesting place is right here, because this threatens to connect white stones either by a hane underneath here, white plays here, or white could play the cut here. And because of this stone, that cut is protected. So, but black can just protect against the outside connection. And if white does the cut, again, black can just extend toward the outside. White can't really do anything about it. Black connects. Or black can even connect right away. White can't do anything about it. Black is happy. Back at this point, if white was to try to block those 2 black stones, black can just push up, push away from the side. Up, you can think of the Go board as a pyramid, and the center of the pyramid is the top. And so up means towards the center often in Go. So white here is pushing up towards the center, and black would extend towards the center as well. So, white can push up as far as he wants, and black gets in here threatening to capture these 4 stones. He's got these ones dead already. This one is threatened. These ones are not strong, although they could invade and make life here on the top. But white is definitely not happy at this point. So back to the game as actually played after I wet my whistle. Okay. So what did black actually play? Black played the connection there. That's fine. And then, yeah, we already took a look at that, didn't we? Or did we? Yes, we did. Because black can just extend either underneath or out to the outside. So white extends along the side here. Not sure why. Doesn't really do anything. It just makes this weak white group bigger. Makes it a more tantalizing morsel for black to try to capture and eat. Black does a connection here, which is nice and solid. If you can't read out, the stronger you get at Go, it correlates with how far you can read into the future, how many moves ahead you can read. And if you're not so good at reading far into the future, then it's often a good idea to make these solid kinds of connections like that. Then you don't have to worry about it. So these white stones can't escape. And this play actually induces black A. And when black plays here, which black actually does, then black's strength is facing into the corner. Black could then jump to this point here, right here, and that would be the end of white's corner. white would have to escape down the side here. So not very, not a, this move here for white. Um, this move here for white was not good because it invites black to do exactly what black did, and that's these 3 white stones are dead, and these white stones are not very happy. So this move here is bad. It's almost self-Atari. You only ever want to, like, there's a reason why there's no stones played on the edge yet, and very few stones played on the second line yet. You notice that. Now, part of the reason is because we started by playing on the 5th line a lot of the time, but you don't want to play on the very edge because even if you play way out in the open like here, you've only got 3 liberties versus in the middle where you've got 4. And playing an attachment on the edge like this, you've only got 2 liberties to begin with, so black can immediately put you in Atari. But you know what? He doesn't even have to, because it'd be better to block at A. So black plays there, and this is how it would, even if white blocks, black can hane underneath. If white plays an Atari, black would connect, and you see how solid it is. This white stone is dead, is captured. White would have to connect there, and this is excellent for black, very good for black. And then black could go around and crush that corner and make it really small by playing on the outside like this. You see how small white's corner ends up becoming. Only got 5 points, and after spending 9 stones. So 9 stones to make 5 points. And look at black's outer strength. Black has a much bigger group here. Black could connect from here to these stones by playing underneath around here somewhere. Hane and play underneath, something like that. Yeah, black is very happy in this situation. So back to what was actually played. There's nothing wrong with that. Black could also play on this side, right? Not only taking the white stone, but playing it from the other side, so pushing further into the corner. Even if white played like this, black would just keep on going. And as soon as black couldn't go, then you take. And look how small white's corner is. Or if white knew better, white would play like this, and then like this. And you see, black just reduced white's territory by at least 2 points in cente. White had to answer. Black doesn't have to answer. Black's nice and solid. So black's really happy. And yeah, so white plays down, black captures, white does Atari. Black connects. It's small, but it is cente, since the white's corner is vulnerable if white doesn't answer, which white does. So that's good. You guys have learned that much. That's good. Good to hear. Good to see. If this was a contentious area, if black wasn't alive in here already, black could actually make this into a ko by playing here. Then white takes, black plays a ko threat somewhere else on the board, wherever it happens to be, someplace that's really important. If white answers, whatever, then black takes and has a chance. If white then plays a ko threat which black doesn't have to answer, then black can expand his territory, maybe kill the corner, make this weak group live, whatever was necessary. In this case, it's too much of a risk. It's not worth the risk isn't worth the reward. But if it was a riskier area, if black's group was not alive already, then black might consider turning that into a ko by playing like that. To prevent that, rather than playing here, white could actually play here instead, and then black plays one more. White plays Atari. Black has to connect or lose 2 stones if this doesn't work anymore, right? You see, it's not a ko. White can now connect here at any time. So that doesn't work for white. So back to here, white plays Atari, black connects, and then white would have to connect somehow, either here for a solid connection or here to separate out the eye space on both sides, or even here. Any one of those three would be fine in this situation. So white might play here, for example. The disadvantage of playing one of these diagonal moves is that it allows a black co-threat later on in the game. Black could play either here or here as a co-threat. Whereas connecting solidly, like this, there's no co-threat here. But maybe white doesn't have enough space for two eyes. So that's the reason. The reason you do make that diagonal is so that you have space for two eyes. It sort of separates the area out into two areas, right? You've got one side here and one side here, and they're separated by these two stones. So it's easier to make two eyes. But the disadvantage is that you've got later co-threats. And here you got no co-threats. So depending on if this white group is really needs to live right away, if it's in danger of dying, that's why you would choose the solid connection over the diagonal connection or vice versa. But back to how the game actually played. I think I'm going to take a little break for now, pausing the recording. Okay, recording. So what does white do after this? White plays the Atari, black connects, and then white plays the connection, which is fine. Black plays this stone here, absolutely not needed. The white stones are already dead. Black is in no danger whatsoever. Question to ask yourself is, where does white want to play next? Play there instead. So white wants to play here. What if black plays there instead? Then this is the best white can do. And white is a lot smaller. Look at the difference between these sides here. Look at what was actually played versus what could have been played. White's corner is a lot smaller in what could have been played. But what was actually played? This was actually played. Black plays a Hane, which is fine. It was a good sequence. Black extends, white extends on the second line. That's fine. Doesn't make a lot of territory, so for every one stone, you're only adding 1 point of territory. But if a group needs the eye space, then it's worthwhile. In this case, this group is already alive. It doesn't need the eye space. It's fine. I'm sure there are bigger points elsewhere on the board, like, hey, enclosures and approach moves. That's what you want to be doing. Black plays this jump. Black played this jump. It's an attachment to these white stones. It's too far and too soon. Black should instead play the extension at A first, and then maybe do a 1 point jump to try to attach. But even this, white can still cut. Black can Atari and then connect, and at least black has separated the corner from the center. So if this center was not alive, which it's pretty much alive as it is right now, but if it wasn't, then that would be a very strong move, keeping white's weak groups separated. Keeping your opponent's weak group separated is a very useful thing. And if you look at black's lower left-hand corner here, it's enormous. It's enormous. How many points is this? This is, let's see, this is like out to the ninth, so that's like 27, 35. This is like 40, 45 points down here. It's huge. White could still possibly invade around A, but that's about the only place. A or here maybe. White could invade maybe here or here if you know what you're doing. Maybe better than me, but A is a definite possibility for invasion. But black's corner here is enormous. Good success for black doing it that way. But even what black did is not too bad. So white did a Hane around the black stones, cut the connection. Black continued. White did a Atari on the two stones. Black connects. White extends. Now, okay, here's where reading, this is a case of reading. The black stone here, what actually happens in the game? White extends, black tries to connect but can't, and white extends, killing that black stone. So why bother playing the black stone? You played it so that white could capture. Didn't help. So instead, we go back here. Um, instead of Atariing underneath, you could Atari. You can go back. Instead of Atariing here, you could instead Atari here. White connects, black connects, threatening these two marked white stones with capture somewhere around A, and connecting that stone in the middle. Black is happy. White's not upset, but black is certainly happier than he would have been before. If white were to play somewhere else, a tenuki somewhere else, then here's what would happen. Here's what could happen as an outcome if black was to play up here as a net, or geta in Japanese. Geta are those wooden shoes that Japanese people wear, and it sort of looks like that. It's sort of got, this is like the part of the shoe that touches the floor here and here against all of this. So you got lots of strength here and then a couple of stones, and that's a geta. This is more of a loose net than a definite, like this would, if there was a black stone here and white played here, that's the orthodox geta move. But anyway, so say if black was able to play here and white tried to get out, black would block, white tries to get out, black blocks, white tries to connect, black blocks, white tries to Atari, black takes. Back to here, if white plays this way, black blocks, white tries to connect, black blocks, white tries to escape, black blocks, dead, captured. White tries to escape this way, black blocks. You see how it always works. It just always works. You have to be able to read this situation out though. Another alternative would be to connect here, black again blocks, and we've seen this before. White tries to Atari, black takes. And going back to here, white has one more option, which is to try to connect this way, and in this case, black just stops on the inside instead and captures. So we're all done. No problem here. So what actually happened in the game? So this stemmed at this point here, right, where black did an Atari from underneath. And I told you that Atari from above is better because then you can save this stone. But even if you do Atari from underneath, white extends. Black can, instead of playing like that, black can play Atari here. White answers. Then black fixes the shape. I understand why black wants to play here, because this looks scary, right? This looks scary. White can play here, Atari, and then here, capture. But these two white stones are already in Atari, which means white has to connect, and then black has a chance to connect and fix the defects in his shape after that. So here black would be very happy. Again, look at the size of this corner. So back to the actual game, black descended, which really, again, it invites white's Atari. You don't want to be playing making a play, playing a stone that invites your opponent to do what you don't want him to do. Okay? So look at and see, what do you not want your opponent to do? Can you prevent it? If you can, prevent it. If you can't, don't invite him to do it by playing something like this. Maybe play somewhere else. Now, although if you didn't play here, if black was to play somewhere else, like over here, say, then white could easily capture this one stone, right? Actually, no, white couldn't do that. Not in this case, because black could then connect here and then capture these two stones. But you get the idea. This white stone is vulnerable. Maybe white could play here, and then if black connects, then white can play like this and get a bigger capture more profit at the edge here. So black actually plays like that. White does the Atari. Black extends along the top, which is nothing wrong with it, sure. But it's second line territory. Black is already alive. Got some captures in here. There are much bigger moves elsewhere on the board. White extends to block. Black descends to block white. That's good. These two stones help create a corner enclosure with this black cornerstone here. That's a good move for black. White takes, completely unnecessary. What danger is there? Black can't connect or capture. If black A or B, then you take. Playing an unnecessary stone essentially gives your opponent 2 plays in a row, which is huge. And it basically allows black to play here, which is big, but it's an endgame big. It's a few points, maybe 5 or 6 points at the most, but it's endgame. It's not middle game, which is where we are now, or even opening still on this side. Also unnecessary. This basically, every time you play an unnecessary stone, you're giving your opponent another stone in a row. You're letting them play 2, or in this case 3 stones in a row somewhere else on the board. That's that you don't want to do that. Not a good idea. So hey, black plays an enclosure up here. That's good, protecting against, much better than had white played here. Look at the difference if white had played here instead. Huge difference. Look at the difference. No difference whatsoever on the left-hand side. Huge difference on the right-hand side. On the right-hand side, now white stone is lonely and isolated, whereas here, white stone is starting to form a base, aiming towards an invasion of the corner, aiming towards an extension down the right-hand side. Good move by black here. White does a single space, not even a space extension, just extends one line, which is, it's the right idea. It extends, it makes whites stronger, but it's too slow. So much better for white to play at A or B for a base, or play at C to aim to link up to the center stones here. And these center, there's some weak places here, like these 6 stones here. They're not very strong. This stone here is very weak. It's only from here to here that white is really has some solid prospects. These stones up here they're not in good shape. So black blocks, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. White does a hane. White is definitely playing this game for outside influence, outside of the edges. It's actually the inside, it's the center of the board, but it's influence towards the center. Center influence is what white has been playing. And continues that theme. Black takes the opportunity to do an Atari. White connects. Black then captures a stone. Good use of cutting points here. At this point, white plays, not sure what that is for exactly. Probably better to play something along the lines of this. See, this starts to connect these 6 white stones to the center. Something like that. But white plays there. Black captures. Unnecessary. So if white Atari's at A, then you can connect at B. You don't even have to capture. Capturing is kind of a wasted move. If you don't have to capture, don't. The only reason you'd have to capture is if by letting that stone live, it threatens some other part of the board. So better, if you don't have to capture, don't. Better to block at C. or extend at A or D. Better connection than to the marked stone here. So I've got some of those variations here, better than capturing. So here's turning or doing a hane around this one lone white stone here. It makes a good, it aims to connect to this stone in the middle, which is good, and it provides access to the center. You've got like you can think of it as beachfront property. This is the ocean, and this is your beachfront property. You've got lots of access to the ocean here. And it's also threatening to isolate and capture these 7 white stones here. So how might this play out? Even if white plays Atari, you just connect. Even if white plays like that, okay, it keeps the marked stones separated, fine, because hey, look at it now. These 5 white stones, they're not connected to anything, so white might want to connect them into the middle. Good play by white. Black could play down like that, connect down here. Black still has access to the middle here, like that. So black is happy there. So back to here, black captured. Instead of capturing, black could play here. Also aiming to connect what might happen here. White might hane, black hanes again. Even if white Ataris, black connects an Atari. If white Ataris again, black can capture. So now black has unfettered access to this part of the middle. So that's not going to turn into white's territory, for sure. And these white stones are looking worse than ever. White would have to connect back again. Black could still try to connect, even if white blocks, if white cuts like this, black can use that to either extend influence into this part of the center, or black could use that to Atari this way and possibly connect down more easily. You see, you can use that, the power of the Atari, to, it's like if white responds, then you can direct that energy in a different direction and you'd be happy. Back to the actual game. So white played there, black took. Instead of taking, black could play like that. This might be the best play, I think, because it gets the closest to this stone here, is if that was your intention. If white plays an Atari, you connect. Even if white does a hane, a double hane, and white is, these 7 white stones here are in big trouble. Black is fine. This is not worrisome for black, and black could actually capture this stone here. So if white does cut there, black could say, okay, fine, you keep that. Instead, I will capture this one stone, and all of these marked white stones are now in danger. They have to work hard to escape from they're surrounded on 2 or almost 3 sides. In this case, it's almost 3 sides it's surrounded by. So these things, basically destroys white center, makes an eye for black, threatens to connect to the marked black stone here, and threatens to capture all of these. Like, look at how efficiently these stones are being played. They're doing so many things at the same time. This is really good for black and bad for white. But let's go back to the actual game as played. Black captures. White extends. Black connects. Okay, it's slow. As we already looked at, black A is faster and still solidly connected. This does make a solid eye, but look how big this group is. Look how big this corner is. There's no way for white to invade. Much too strong. Black is much too strong for white to invade here. And solidly connected, you're 100% alive in this area. So you don't need it. It's just 1 point. White plays out like that. Black can still poke through. if black wanted to, like this. Black can still poke through. Black didn't poke through in the actual game. Instead, black played along the side here, which is a good block, and it threatens some of the sequences in the variation, which I'll show you now. So black could poke through, and white blocks. Black has a bunch of Ataris to play, and then can threaten these 6 stones here by playing there. See how solidly black can hem in these stones. These white stones are as good as dead at this point. We go back a few plays, and instead, if white played something like that, black could just as easily, even if white takes that stone, black has now captured these 6 stones here. Black is very happy here. White has a nice strong ponuki, or almost a ponuki on this side, and this lower right-hand corner is well developed, but black is quite happy. And black could also play like that if to be even more secure, even more sure of the of capturing white, because white can't escape. Even if white tries, black can just capture. White has 2 liberties against black's 2 here. It has captured a stone here. There's nothing white can do. Black captures, or white plays here. Black captures. These are all very dead. Not even mostly dead, completely dead. So if we go back in this variation here, instead of that, white might extend back, but doesn't, black just connects solidly on the outside like that. And at most, white could make a pitiful small life, but this is kind of a vital point. If you look at the shape here, if white's able to play here, that separates out the area into 2 potential eyes, like 1 eye here, maybe 1 eye here, although not likely because black can poke it out. And then if white could play here and here, he could probably make 2 eyes and live. But black can poke out those eyes by playing down here, and not much white can do about it. Even if white tries something funny like that clamp, black can extend and something like this. Even this, well, this is not likely. So this is kind of like, you go down a path, you're reading something out, and you go down a path and say, oh, I can do this, and I can do this, but oops, then white can do this and capture these 3 black stones, and then white would be really happy. But instead, black just plays something like this, gives white the chance to make that. Black pokes out that 1 eye, white extends, and then black pokes out the other eye. White cannot make 2 eyes at this point. If white tries to play here, black plays here, and vice versa. If white plays here, black plays here, mi, white has only 1 eye maximum, and dead. Dead, dead, dead. Okay. Back to the original game. So black can poke out, but didn't. So this is what actually happened. So black blocks. White extends from the corner, which is good. It is a bit far and a bit high, especially with all these black stones around here. Maybe A here is better for the corner. But the played stone does threaten to loosely cut these 2 black stones off from the rest of them. It threatens to play at B. So that's not bad, certainly. Then black actually played this stone B. So these 3 triangle stones are too far apart from each other to really be considered connected. White could cut them, but they're a lot better than they were. And these 2 mark stones with the squares are not solidly connected to this bottom left corner. White could cut by playing down here. So here's a variation. White can keep those stones disconnected by playing at A here, like this. So white would have to sacrifice a stone But then, at this point, white sacrifices this one stone, makes a nice corner, and completely separates these black stones apart from the others. We're going back, white could play on the other side, and a similar thing happens. Black plays in, white plays, black descends, white descends, black captures, or plays Atari anyway. White jumps over and effectively cuts these ones off. And there's not much black can do at this point. Black can't descend, white can connect. See, these are the properties of the second line. The second line is good for connecting under other stones because black doesn't have enough liberties to do anything about it. If black plays here, then white can play here and capture because of the edge. So, the second line up from the edge has special properties, and the very edge has special properties, and even the third line has some special properties that that help to get these really interesting situations that you have to read out and you learn from experience. Even if, you see, black can't really do much to block white here. Going back a couple of moves, black could try clamping here, but white can just extend up and put these 4 stones in Atari, and white would be very happy with this. Even if white lost this corner, white would gain by capturing these 4 stones and blocking blocking the corner off. So say black got this entire corner and white blocked it off. Look at how big this center is. It's big. It's pretty big. But on the other hand, this corner is so much bigger, including this corner. These 2 corners together are bigger than this entire center. Even if white was to get this entire center, this corner plus this corner are bigger because it's much more efficient to make territory in the corner. So heading back to the actual game, I'm going to pause here. Okay, continuing. White actually played on the 3-3 point, the sun point in the corner, which protects the corner, but it's too small. Either playing A or B are better. A is just as strong as this point here, and B actually helps to reduce black's outside and could help prevent or could help disconnect these 5 black stones from these stones over here. So black plays in here exactly where white probably should have played, which is good. Then white closes off that little hole up in the up there, which prevents black from poking through. Now black makes an empty triangle. Again, warning. Danger, Will Robinson, empty triangle. A or B would be better, certainly, and make it easier to link to the marked stones. So, for example, say you just descend one, still a very strong connection. If white plays here, black can easily capture it. You see? These 3 stones are in Atari, they're dead, they can't escape. So that's, the third line here is it's easy for black to capture from the third line. So back to here. So if black descends, then that makes it, even if white now tries to block, tries to cut, black can easily connect, and this white stone has nowhere to go. Surrounded by strengths on both sides. You've got strength on the left, strength on the right, and the wall below. And of course, cut from above. So there's nowhere for white to go. This white stone is dead. Instead, black played here. White played down. See, look at the difference now. Black played there. This is overambitious. This is too much. You can't hane twice like this underneath, especially near the edge, because white can play Atari. Even if black connects, white plays Atari, capturing this stone. The one saving grace that this situation has is that black can then cut from above and could possibly be killed, but I doubt that that played into the decision. So black could kill it, basically, this whole area. Here, this is a false eye. Black plays here, Atari. White has to fill in the eye. Even if white extends out here, black can poke out the eye, and white is completely dead. Heading back to this point, when black did the cut, white could connect, and black Atari. White has one eye. Black blocks white from making a second eye. So white is effectively dead at that point. So what actually happened in the game, though, is that black played down here like that. And then white Atari, black connect, white Atari, black block, and white connected, black Atari, and white takes. So that's good containment, but it could have been a lot better. You know, you compare what let's see, compare what could have been. Where was it? There, no, here. Yeah, compare what could have been to what actually was, what actually happened, and you can see a big difference. I had another variation over here. What was this? Oh yeah, this was showing what with double hane and the danger. This shows, yeah, black containing, and then still at this point, black could cut and contain white. So at this point, because of that Atari, white does have two eyes, has one eye already established, and if black plays here, white plays here, and vice versa. So white has two eyes and is alive, but still it's contained. Okay, but in the real game, black descended to contain, white connected, black descended to contain, white took, too small. It only threatens 1 point. The group to the right still needs to live. All these stones here, they don't have two eyes. One eye at most at this point. White connects, also not needed, too small. Yes, it completes the eye, but only one eye. White still has to connect to the center, but that should be easy. I mean, white could just play one stone here instead. Instead of playing there, white could play there and completely connect it to all these center stones here. Even if black was to invade here, white could easily make some territory up here like this, and then this is very strong. So black played, white played, black played again, also unnecessary, white played. It's 1 point, preserves 1 point, not really necessary. Black played in like this. This is good. When you see an opening in the opponent's wall, push through it. It aims to cut this big white group off from the center. If white was to let black play another move or two in this area, these stones would be blocked from the center, and black is reducing white's center at the same time. So white tries to cut, black connects, and then white tries to capture, but there are too many black stones. It's too small of an area. White can't escape. Black does a very good capturing sequence here. Excellent sequence by black. If we go back to this point, so white does the cut, black connects. White could also Atari from the other side, but even this is not successful. White descends like this, and there's various ways that black could contain and eventually capture. And you see, these black stones, they've escaped into the center, so they have liberties. They can make more liberties. These 5 white stones here, they're not making any more liberties. They've got nowhere to go. Backing up a few spots to here. White could also play on this side, in which case black just extends that way. And then also white has nowhere to go. White has 3 liberties, black has has 5 as it stands and can make more. Going back one further, rather than playing this is not necessarily the best move playing here because, again, it's attaching 1 stone attached to 2, 3 liberties against 3, and it's white's turn. So in isolation, this black stone might be captured, but because of all the strength around it, it's fine. But instead, black could just play a much more sedate, solid move like that. See, these two are connected. They're not physically connected, but they're connected. They can play on either side to connect. And white has nowhere to go. Black connects, white connects, black extends into the center, threatens to connect to the marked stones and capture these stones at the bottom. This white group here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 liberties. This black group has 1, 2, 3, 4. Now these are all shared. Sure, at least some of them are shared. 4, 5, 6 plus this gives it like 7 liberties, and black can keep on playing. If white blocks on one side, black can go. If white blocks, one way, black can go the other way. And now look how many liberties this group has. So these white stones are toast. So back to this here, back to here. What actually happened in the game was white played Atari, black connects, white tries to run out, black blocks, and white can't escape. So black is very happy. Mark says, "Oops." So next, white played into the side here, or into the corner, trying to make some life. How many points, even if you make life in this corner, how many points are you likely to get? 4, 5, 6 at the most? It's not worth it. Instead of playing there, play, here. Play an active move. Play like here, threatening this base. Where was this? Play, up in this direction. If black connects, then white can cut off this stone. This is much bigger. Look at how much bigger that is. And this black group here is a stick. It doesn't have any eyes, maybe one at the most. So there's lots of better ways to play there. But white played into the corner. Black plays there. Again, instantly weak. Black A or B instead are much better. So let's take a look at those. Here's A. If white tries to make eye space that way, black can block directly, and then black can just kill the corner by poking out its eyes. White can only make one eye, cannot make two. Back to here. Instead of playing here, black, and we just looked at here, instead black could play here. Then white could descend to the edge, black descends, blocking, white descends. Black can then poke out the eye. I'm not sure, I'd have to think about it for a moment. I can't remember my big eyes, but I think this white corner is dead as it stands. Like there's nothing white can do at this point. White would have to play 2 moves in a row. White would have to play here and here in order for this to live. If white played either one, black would play the other, and white would be dead. So black doesn't even have to do that. So white's dead. White has only one eye. This is what's called a bulky 5. It's one of the dead eye shapes. And if the black stone wasn't there, that is. And black plays at the vital point there, which prevents turning the bulky 5 into 2 eyes. So back to the actual game. Black played there. White does a hane. Black withdraws. That's fine. And, at this point, this worked. It worked. It's not necessarily the best because white could also have played on this side. And maybe this wouldn't work, but, it would be a better chance for white. So basically this move here gives white a chance. Maybe there's enough black strength around it that there's no real chance, but it's kind of risky. If these stones weren't here, if these two stones, say, weren't here, I would definitely not want to play there. So not the best place to play. But white seems to give up the corner for the moment. But there's always aji, right? Aji, which is Japanese for taste. And you can think of it as like aftertaste. It's like something left behind that might be useful later. That's what aji is. So over here, white did a hane on the edge. This is an endgame move, but it threatens to invade black's territory here. It threatens to capture these two stones, or at least hurt them. It's a common situation. Black cannot block at A because of the cut at B. So, but that's what black does. So this is something you have to learn from experience. You'll see these over and over again. White does a double Atari, threatening. Black could play the this ko, if it weren't for these marked stones. So here, going back, this is what black should have done. Black should have played here. Here's an empty triangle, and it's okay here because it's the most efficient play. White plays a second one. Black then Ataris. White has to connect, and then black protects the cutting point. Because if black doesn't protect the cutting point and white plays here, it's a double Atari. Not good. But this is what actually happened. So black extended here. White could keep on putting the black stones in Atari, which is what this variation shows here. White could just keep on saying, okay, black, you give me another stone? Fine, I'll keep on eating them. Boom. And then connect, and then the aji helps white capture this entire row. So that's what white could have done. White could have kept on putting those stones into Atari. Instead, white captured those two stones, which is fine. Black can still save these two stones if he wants to. So what did black do? Black played up like that, which it works. It's not the best, but it works. Even now, black can still save his stones. Instead, he blocks. White captures those three stones. So look at where it used to be and look at where it is now. Black has lost all of this area. So black has lost 5 stones and given the 5 points to white and lost a little bit more territory. So this is like a 15-20 move loss, a 20-point loss here. But even at this point, black can still save those 3 stones. Even if after white plays here, black can play out like this, white can play like this, black can play out like this. White can't capture them. There are ways. But what actually happened in the game was this. Unfortunate. Black tried to push in around this group here, which is fine. But and then it tried to cut. White, of course, connects. At this point, you have to be careful because there's a cutting point here, and white takes advantage of that in a moment. So now it's a double Atari at this marked point. You've got to be careful. Black tries to push up, white pushes out, black does Atari. I mean, these are good reducing moves, but there's too much that white can. Black is paying too much for it in these this double Atari point here, these cutting points. So black blocks. Black does Atari here. White could connect here just as easily. Instead of playing the ko, white could just connect. That's fine. But white plays the ko, black captures, and then white plays the double Atari. So black actually had time. At this point, black should have gone back and connected. Now this stick is alive. It's got one eye over here, and maybe another eye over here, maybe even a little bit of territory. But it had a long way to go. Now I want to go back to this point here. And here's an interesting situation. So you see this sort of black is cut here. White has only 2 liberties here. Now white has an eye. What if white didn't have an eye? What if there was nothing there? So I'm going to fill that in, that marked stone. I'm filling it in just for illustration purpose. Black could play here at the cutting point. White captures. Black plays Atari. Even if white connects, still only 1 liberty. Boom, capture. This is a situation that happens quite often in games. When there's stones, your opponent's stones sort of bottleneck you in, then you've got to be very careful about that. So again, the sequence is, this is only if there was no eye here, then this can happen. There's a formation called a bird's nest you can look up. Look up on Sensei's library. I'll give you the link if you haven't found it already. But a bird's nest, it's is like this. What actually happened was, beware the double Atari. Okay, this is where it would have been good to connect, but we actually played, we actually played here, and then there. White could have just connected. Black took the ko. White played the double Atari. I'm not sure why black is doing that. Black thinks that the center is very important. Black connects. White takes, and then there's a second Atari. These, when you have a line of diagonal stones against a diagonal wall, you're going to get this series of Atari, series of cutting points, series of Ataris. Black places this stone in Atari, but this one is already in Atari, so white just takes it. Or white can, so this is what white actually did, but why not take at A instead? Why not just take? It threatens another double Atari on the played stone, so let's take a look at that. So instead of playing here, white could play here, and threatens another double Atari up here. If black blocks, then white can connect. Black would have to protect like that. And black is starting to get enough eye shape and is probably alive, but not completely. So this is what actually happened. White played Atari there. Black took. White took. Black connected. Okay. And white protected. So again, rather than playing here to connect, you can also connect here, and this threatens to put these 5 stones in Atari. It threatens to disconnect these stones. So let's see what might happen there. Black could play an Atari, white could extend, and if black extends that way, then white can connect down to this point. It's only a couple of stones away, and then these 3 stones are disconnected from the rest, and this is in trouble. Black would have to play something like this to make eye space. White would easily connect like this. White's happy. Black is very constrained, and these 3 black stones are adrift, set adrift. So what actually happened in the game was this. White ignores that Atari. Black plays up here. This could be a good attack depending on the desired outcome. For example, if black wanted to connect the group on top to these marked stones below, the variation I'll show you in a second might work. It does need good reading skills though. You have to be able to read out what happens in the future. So white extended like that, and what actually happened was black played like this. This doesn't work because white is just moving towards his own strength, and there's too many, this black stone could be Atari and so on. And I'll pick this up. And I'm back after a dinner break. Where were we? Okay, oh, that's right. Black played on here. This doesn't work. because white goes out and can either Atari here or connect or something like that. So yeah, it didn't work. It's worth a try, but it didn't work. That's an area where you just have to be able to read ahead and see. You have to imagine where the stones will land in your mind, and then you can see. Although black could play here to connect that stone to the rest, and then threaten, say white plays somewhere else, threaten, and that would be Atari. Sorry, white wouldn't play that. Never mind. Let me get rid of that. That would be Atari on these white stones. White would play out. Atari again, play out. White could get this far before, black could get this far before white would Atari. And then black could even, and then say white cut here, black could then Atari here, and again, and again, and look at all this reduction. So, and look at this group here. It's got exactly 2 eyes, and one of them was one of those stones that that white captured before when there was a long line of diagonal stones here. So this kind of sequence of forcing moves can be very useful to reduce an area and possibly disconnect something or even kill something. And maybe even instead of that one, black could even play this. White could play there, forcing in a Atari in a connection. But now these stones again they're disconnected from the rest. So black would be happy for that result, I'm sure. So back to the actual game. Black played down there. It strengthens the position. It connects these stones together better, but it doesn't really do that much. Maybe instead of that, better would be down here to take a few points here, or even this would reduce white's corner quite a bit here. But the sequence of forcing moves, starting with this Atari here, would certainly be much more profitable for black. Okay, but what actually happened in the game was black tenuki'd from up here. Tenuki'd. Black withdrew from that area and played down here. White then took advantage and cut. I don't know if white read that out or not, but realized that this was actually bigger than black thought. So black connected there. Okay, that's not bad. So black only lost 1 stone instead of 2. And then white took. But at this point, if white doesn't take the black stone, is there any danger? No, there's no danger. So why take? Let's take a look and see what happens if white doesn't take. Say white plays down here, and black does this. White then just takes that. No danger. So no point in playing that stone. Is basically a wasted move. Wasted stone. Black goes down there. That's good. White connects. Not really necessary. Better for white to play, say, here, threatening to remove this eye space from black and expanding white's corner. We're entering. We've already finished the endgame in a lot of the board, but we're entering the endgame on the right-hand side of the board. And endgame is all about small moves. The closer you are to the end of the game, typically, foreshadowing there, typically the smaller the moves are going to be. But they're important because a game can be lost or won by a point. So black plays down there, white protects, black plays like that, and white goes in. So rather than playing there, black should definitely, this is the point to play for either side. And black let white play there, because then white has to protect. Black can play there, white, and like that. Or if white is worried about eyes, white could play there to immediately make 2 eyes. But there's enough space that white doesn't need to play that because that's also a co-threat right here. Black could make a co-threat right here. And of course, black would have to connect either here or here at some point, because if white plays here, then black has to play here or else lose these 3 stones. So back to the actual game. Black plays like that. White hanes underneath, black bends around, descends, descend, and then black played a connection here, which doesn't do anything really useful. So these are the things that would be much more useful. So playing A would threaten the capture at B. I've got a variation here. So instead of playing here, black could play here at A, threatening the capture at B, so white would have to connect. And then black could play one of the other potential places, and this takes takes some points for black. White could push in, but there we go. And so black has 5 points already, or 4 because white can play Atari here, and maybe 1 more here, and maybe and a couple of points here. So it's a good 10, 12 point group. But what black actually did was play here, which let white could play here anyway. Black could also play down. That would be another place to play. Black plays hane, white plays double hane. Now black could capture or force a ko at A. What did black actually do? Black played the double hane, and then white connected back, and then black took the stone at the edge. But what black could have done was play here, and white could force a ko, but it would be a dangerous ko because black could just extend into white's space. So rather than that, probably better than playing the ko would be for, and here's the ko. Black takes the ko and threatens to capture in here. So, you know, if white did this, unless there was a real pressing need, the best thing white could do would be to do like this. And then actually black can't even connect here. So white doesn't have to go do the 2 steps back. White can just play here, and although this does present another ko possibility, so if white goes like this, black can't even play there, because if black connects, this stone would put these 5 stones, these 4 plus the 1 more, in Atari right away. So black would not be able to connect. So black would, instead of playing there, black would just connect something like this, or just or here, or maybe even better would be for black to take here, and then white would play here, and you know, then black could connect eventually, maybe not right away. Not really important right now. So back to the actual game. White plays down, connects, black takes, white puts in Atari, but it's just a small point. Neither the stone that was actually played nor A is big at this point. It's just 1 point, and this is actually unnecessary. All these black stones around here mean that white can't play here or do anything. If white eventually does play at A, let's say that black played somewhere else, like say here, actually taking some points. And if white played here, then black could just connect like that. Nice and easy, nice and strong, no problem. But black connected there, white played down, black did a hane, white threatens Atari, black connect, white does an invasion. This is pretty late in the game for an invasion. But black really shouldn't ignore the invasion. So black played here, a clamp on this stone. It's not very big. Giving white 2 plays in a row in the corner here is very dangerous. White could, you give me 2 stones in a row in that corner and I can probably live. I would probably play something like this. And then Yeah, I can live in the corner now, you know. Black can't stop me from making two eyes here now. So, even if black tried to, white can escape this way and threaten to cut, and, you know, white has two eyes. So not a good idea. And if if at this point if black wanted to connect the marked stones together, the place to play is here. Because white can't play at A, it's Solfatari. The best white can do at this point would be B, and then black connects. And then even if white takes at A, black connects at B, and if white plays B, then black connects at A. They're Miai. You can play either one, either order. Black takes one, white takes the other, vice versa. So what actually happened in the game, white played in the corner, black made this clamp. White then played like this. If white wanted to keep black stones separated, white should have descended to A, which is the variation here. That's worth a few points because black will have to put a stone on this side and eventually, a stone on this side. So that's worth at least 2 or 3 points, maybe more, compared to what black eventually did here. See, from here to here, black has 3 whole points. Whereas if white played there, black would have to play here. So black would have 1 point at most. So it's worth at least 2 points. And that's pretty big in the endgame. So black played underneath, white connects. Black then blocks. That doesn't make 1 point, but it's small. Bigger plays are here. The star point here at A. Or no, that isn't a star point. Just this point. It encloses more territory. It takes more points. Playing towards B reduces white's center, and playing at C is a really sneaky move. And I'll show you what happens. If black plays C and white must defend. If white doesn't defend, if white plays somewhere else, like over here, for example, black can then play here, a wedge. And watch what happens. There's 2 courses of action. White can either play here or here. White can't play here because that's Solfatari. White can either play here or here. So first, white plays there. Then black plays here. White takes the stone. Black takes the whole group in a snapback. So this is a situation where a shortage of liberties, when white captures the black stone, white also removes one of their own liberties. And you end up with this situation where you've done the capture, but your entire group is now in Atari, and so black can do the snapback. So going back, so white could play here or here. So let's try the other route. White plays like this. Black plays up, putting these 2 stones in Atari, and threatening to put these now 7 stones in Atari. Even if white plays there, black captures these 2 stones and still threatens to capture these 7 stones. So white can't play that because black would take. So white has to play there, which does put these 2 stones in Atari, but they were dead anyway. And it allows black to get into the center, killing this entire white group. There's no way for this white group to escape at this point. There's just too much strength here from black. So that's what could have happened. But white would hopefully connect here, or there might have been another option. It might have been something like this, say, and then if black plays here, yeah, white can play here, and then black can't play here because it would be Solfatari. So, there's a couple of different ways to connect. And then white actually does play down there. Black plays there. White plays the ko. Not important. It's It's 1 point. And black plays down here, playing Atari, but white just takes the 3 stones, fine. And yeah, this ko is too small, too unimportant, nothing depends on it, it's just 1 point either way. There's bigger points elsewhere, like these one here, here for black, here, any number of places. Here, this is huge, as we'll find out going forward. As it is, white played there. Black ignored it. Black must block at A. Must. It's much bigger than finishing the ko, because a ko is 1 point. This, if white plays here, white destroys 2 points of territory and threatens to destroy a 3rd point of territory. So that's like a 3-point difference, or bigger, depending on what happens. More foreshadowing. But for now, white's just going to try to live up in the upper right corner. Black does not let white live. Black does a good sequence. I think this is the wrong side. We'll try the other side in the variation, but that stone doesn't really do anything. Black just takes it. Black can ignore this Atari, and black does, and the white stones are dead. White would have to play. White would have to descend to the side and play here or here. So white would have to play 2 stones in a row to win that group, and black doesn't let white live. And yeah, that's not needed. White's already dead. Better for black to play at A, because this absolutely prevents this white stone from getting up to any mischief. This is already dead. There's no way for white to make 2 eyes in the corner here. So better to just leave it. Now let's go back a few stones to here. So I think this is the wrong side to play on. Now, I think this is dead as it is. There's just no room for white. But this side has more room on it. You see here, white plays and has only 1 space beside that's empty. Here, if white played, or here, white has 2 or 3 spaces to the side. So let's play that out. White plays a hane there. Black plays like that. White could play a tiger's mouth, making eye shape. Now black would encroach on the corner. White blocks. Black can play a vital point, preventing white from making 2 eyes. White can block. Black can play like this. A throw in, white takes. Black plays like that. Okay, this way, white lives. But back to here, I think if black plays there instead, so instead of playing there, if black plays there, then white descends. Black plays like that. White's dead. Nothing white can do at this point. Black puts this stone in Atari and is dead. Maybe a ko, but at white's disadvantage. That's at best. Back to here. Maybe white's better placed to play here, but then black can connect underneath like that. Yeah. So there's lots of different ways to play. Going back here, back here. White could play like that right away, but then black could jump in, connect underneath. White could force a ko at his own disadvantage. You see how white is in Atari right now. White would have to would have to play here and win the ko and then be alive. Pretty hard to do. Back here. At this point, maybe white could play there. So instead of this tiger's mouth, play it in this direction. Black could play down here. White could force a ko and play here, or maybe better than that would be to play something like here or here, something. I don't know. I don't know what was I thinking about here? Because black can just take the ko. White's dead, effectively. Well, white could play here at this point, I guess. That's a possibility. That's kind of a tricky move. And then not a whole lot black can do at this point. Black can't play here. Black can't play here. This is the best. White would be alive. So not too great. So there are some ways, starting on this side, maybe white could live, or at least force a ko. But white plays there. Black prevents white from living in the corner. Not necessary. Then white plays down here. This is the point we were talking about a while back. See, it's already destroyed 2 or 3 points of black's territory. Black ignores it. So this move was not needed. So this move is absolutely not needed, like not needed squared. And black let white play this 2 moves in a row in the lower left-hand corner. Now white plays there. So that destroys a point. Okay. So back at this point, when white played there, black could have played there. Okay, that's fine. So leaving that side alone. So here, so black played over there. No, black should have connected. Then the worst white could have done was play in like that and down, and black would have been fine. Lost a few points in the corner, but not a big deal. Still alive, still happy, still winning the game, I might add. But instead, black played up there, white played there, Atari. Black ignored it again. Black took. Why capture? It's ready to capture at any time. It's not threatening anything. There is a ko here, but black is alive all the way around a dead white group. No need to capture it. No need to actually take the stones. So white uses that opportunity to bring this aji in the lower left corner back to life and play there, killing half the corner. Huge cut, huge capture. Black plays, white connects, and then black connects this one stone. It's like 2 points, 2 or maybe 3 points. Not a big deal. Black should have connected at A instead, because what happens? White plays here now. Black plays here now. Black's safe. Lots of territory. Nice, simple. You see how it's straight lines, no cutting points. Black's happy, as it was. Black connected up here, and then white played in the middle. Okay, good move for white. Black must respond. Black didn't respond. Black absolutely must connect at A, B, or C. Any one of those would work. Any one of those. Because A threatens an Atari, which after connection is still Atari. B threatens a double Atari. And C is the same as A. It threatens an Atari, which is then a second Atari. So black must connect at one of those. But black does not. White could take one of those right away. White should play, as the next move, white should play at A, because this is the big thing. This is 9 stones. That's 18 points with repercussions further along. So it's probably closer to 20 points or more. Black cannot escape it. If black tries, white just captures the whole thing. That would be 11 stones at that point. So white should have played at A. Both players should play at A, or in black's case at B or C. But white should have played at A also. White instead plays that Atari. This is small potatoes compared to this. Black connects. This is dead. This is dead black. There's no way to escape along the second line like this, so no point in playing that. If you wanted to play that, Atari at A instead. But again, this is still up there. This is huge. Still waiting. So here's Atariing at A. Here's the variation of Atariing at A. White takes, and then gives black a chance to connect, or at least I took it. It's like, come on, black, you gotta reconnect here. And white can play in like that, and then black can play like that, So white has certainly devastated this corner. This corner used to be a 45-point corner. 45 points. At this point in the game, and this is the good side. At this point in the game, it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10 points. Black lost 35 points, plus all the captures that white took. White took a bunch of captures in here. So you're talking about, it went from 45 down to 0, basically, maybe 5 points. So black lost like 40 points in this corner through this. As it stands, white plays like this. Black does play that. That's decent. That's a good move. But then white takes, and Dylan says, shoot, I was hoping you wouldn't notice that. And my question is, when did you see it? Why didn't you act earlier? This is huge. This is enormous. Black takes like that. Okay, that's 2 points. Great. White plays like that. Black plays Atari. Notice that one of this group is touching this group that's in Atari, so white just takes it. And now white has turned what was a 45-point corner into 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points for black, and then minus all of these. So basically it's negative points. It used to be 45 points. Black has just lost like 50 points in this corner, at least. So, that's the game. White tries a few things in here. Black doesn't. Black tries to connect. You can't connect here because white can, well, that's Atari, so white has to connect. And then black captures here. But at this point, yeah, white can capture these 2 stones by playing here. If black connects, white takes all 4, so black can't do that. So the best black can do at this point is play here, and then white would capture. So as it is going back to this point, what are the black's alternatives here? Yeah, black can play there, and then white can play down here like that. And this is an interesting situation because this point here is a false eye. And even if black connects there, if white takes there, then now this is Sibicky. Black loses some, You see what happened here? White can play in here, a throw in. Black takes, snap back, white takes back. And black has to connect. And now this is Sibicky. So black does not have eyes. White does not have eyes either. White can't kill this group, but black can't kill the white group either. They're like 2 zombies, and they both sort of live in a half-life. That's called Sibicky. Neither player can capture the other player's group. Going back, another option would have been, rather than playing here, had black played up something like this, white could descend, even if black plays like that. If white ignores all of that and plays something like this, black still has to connect, and again, Sibicky. So this actually, surprisingly to me, was a good move because it prevents the Sibicky. It prevents white from making this point A into a false eye. And white still captures all these stones. This is not needed. If white plays there, black can connect at A. The white stones are dead. Not a Sibicky at this point. So white can connect, or capture, sorry. Black is playing some endgame here. That's fine. White plays like that. Black played like that. Well, black at A, much bigger. Watch what happens. So white plays there. White could try playing where black just played, and then black can just block. So it's a difference of a couple of points there. But now, even if white cuts, black can just capture. White can try to block that way. Black can play out that way. White can try to block again. Black can connect up to those 2 stones. And now I think this is an unrealistic sequence. This wouldn't really happen this way. We go back a few stones. White would maybe play here instead. Black could extend, but that would force a ko. Black could maybe cut there and again threaten all of these 8 white stones up here, but maybe unrealistic. But at least it'd be a lot of co-threats, that's for sure. Black would probably get something out of it. Back at this point, white could play here instead, and let's see what black can do. Maybe something like this. See now, these white stones have 1, 2 liberties. Each of these black groups have 3 liberties. White's dead. Capture, and a big thing for white. So going back to here, white could just block, and then black could come out again, and you know, this is an enormous ko also. So now at least white's connected up here all the way through like this, but this is an enormous ko because if black wins this ko, then this whole group is cut off, does not have 2 eyes yet, and has destroyed the center. So going back to the previous decision point, so black played there, white plays here. So instead, if white plays something like this, then black can just extend in with impunity. This might be the best result for white in this case, and the most balanced result for both sides. But black did not play here, black played here. Okay, so white plays here. At this point, you know, black can still play here. It's a double Atari. Why not take it? It's pure profit, and the marked white stone can't do a thing. But black just connected here, taking the stone. It's a wasted move. White plays here, connecting the double Atari. Black secures a couple points. White secures a lot of points. I mean, look at the difference, you know, between that and that, between that, you know, with this captured, you know, and where we ended up. Big difference, big difference. So where were we? So we were around here. White connects and blocks. White intrudes. Black can block on either side. This, you know, that's fine. It's actually better because if black had blocked here, then white could play Atari here, and black would end up losing another point. So that's probably the better side to play on. White plays, black blocks. White intrudes, black blocks, and black doesn't realize that there's a cutting point here, or decides that this is worth more. Don't know. Yeah, because this thing up here still exists today. This push in, if black doesn't respond, if white doesn't respond, if white played here or something, then black could play up here and kill and invade this entire area and maybe connect to these 2 stones, just like we saw before. So maybe that's better to play here. But black does take those 3 stones, and in Sente, by the way. But instead of actually capturing right here, better to play here. Because at this point, if white tries to capture it, black has a snapback, and black threatens to play a double Atari at A, so white has to connect. And then black can take an extra stone and white can play through, you know. But although this last couple of bits, this is in Gote for black, so often black would only do this if that was the biggest thing on the board left. And heading back a few stones to here, if white plays like that, then black can do the same thing, and the same thing happens. Yeah, like that. But black just takes, white connects that way, okay. No, white lets black go in. Oh, that's very nice of white. Well, I guess if white hadn't played there, if white had played here instead, black could have done Atari there and then Atari there. So maybe white did have to reconnect, so that's fine. Maybe white did have to connect here first. Letting black in, and then white blocks. So at this point, black plays over here, threatening to put this in Atari, but that's from the inside. We'll get to that later. Black A is actually better, and I'll show you why. Black A forces white to block, and then black can play here, which is Atari, forcing white to take. That's a point. White had to play a stone here that white otherwise would not have had to play, so that's 1 point. Forcing the opponent to take is often worth a point or more. And then black could play there again threatening this Atari, but it's really just a dame point. A dame point here, it means if black plays at A, forcing white to connect at B, black has basically given white a point, given white a capture, so given white 1 point, but and then the white has to play at B, losing a point, so it's +1 -1 equals 0, so no difference. So black played there, white connects. You see now white doesn't have to capture this stone, because even when black plays here, there's no Atari here. So it's quite a big difference, a few points. This forces white to connect, as I said, -1. But this stone is white's capture, which is +1 point for white, only useful as a co-threat. So it's only a co-threat, so why play it? Keep it for a co, if there is one. Even if there is no co, better to just keep it as a threat. Just, you never know when a co-threat might come in handy. So black plays there. Dame, connecting at A. Actually, no, that's not dame. Sorry, that's not dame. That's wrong. Because if white played there, black would have to play there. So that actually is a point. Never mind, my mistake. White plays there, taking the ko. Black plays an actual dame. So this is where a co-threat would actually come in handy. So if the game hinged on 1 point, which it actually may, even at this point, black could have kept this here as a co-threat and played it and then been able to play back. That's, co-threats are useful even into the endgame. White connects, black plays a dame point here, white plays a dame, and then looks like pass. So end of the game. 1 point about dame. Dame is a Japanese term. It has multiple meanings. In Go, it means the points between two groups, like right here. Here's a dame point that nobody filled in, that doesn't belong, that doesn't amount to anything. It's a garbage point. It's nothing. But dame is also a word in Japanese that means bad or no. It's what you say to a dog when they do, or a young child when they do something wrong. You say dame, like that. And so really what it means is it's a wrong move. If you play a dame when there's any other move on the board, then it's a wrong move. It's a wasted move. So there's a bit of an expression. So this was Dylan's first 19 by 19 game. Yeah, he says the smaller birds don't give you any real practice with openings. You get right into mid-game and endgame. It's like, that's true. So 19 by 19 is a much richer experience than 9 by 9 or even 13 by 13. You can lose a battle but still win the game. So the result was white wins by 6.5 points, but that included a 5.5 point komi. Normally in a handicap game, which there was 2 handicap zones. Normally in a handicap game, there is no komi, or only a 0.5 point of komi to prevent ties. So in actual fact, white only won by 1 point on the board. So any one of these endgame mistakes, had black played differently, black could have won the game. But the real deciding thing was this fiasco in the corner here. That was a disaster, turning this 45, 50 point corner into 0 or less, maybe even negative, because white could take so many points. Because if you look at it, what else does white have? White has 13 points in this corner. White, including these, so 3 plus 10, so 16. So 3, you count captures as double. So here's 10. 16, 17, 18, 19 here, another it's 21, that's 22 here, and then 10 over here. So like not a whole lot of points, like 40 points total. Black has that much, but it's all these captures. It's all these captures. You know, this area down here is quite big for black. This is quite big. This would have been huge. It would have been black's game all the way. All you have to do is play one of those 3 points around here to secure this area, and you would have been fine. Or just block earlier back here when black had to make white had to make a sequence of incursions from the edge, like Atari capture, Atari capture, Atari capture, like 3 or 4 in a row before this was even possible. And so hope you learned something from this. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to answer. And this has been Go Game Review number 1, Beginners First, 19 by 19 by me. I have been your host, David Goodger. So I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.